Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be showing you guys 6 steps that you can follow in order to become front-end web developer in 2022. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So step 1 is I want you to spend 1 to 2 weeks learning HTML and CSS. HTML and CSS are two basic building blocks of any website or any web app that you see on the internet. Now understanding how these two work will help you reach your goals of becoming a web developer much faster. And these two technologies are not too hard to learn. HTML is basically how you structure your web pages. It's a language that helps you structure your websites and web apps. And CSS is basically to add styling to that structure. So there's not much to it. 1 to 2 weeks should be more than enough for you to pick up these two. And I'll post links to all the best resources that you can use to learn these two. Some of those resources are free, some of them are paid, but these resources are probably the best out there to learn these two languages. Let's move on to step number 2 now. Step 2 is I want you to spend 2 to 4 weeks learning JavaScript. But when I say learning JavaScript, I don't just mean basics of the language. I want you to learn advanced topics like closures or lexical scoping or prototypal inheritance in JavaScript. Now, JavaScript is a language that allows you to add interactivity to your website or web app. And becoming a really good at JavaScript will also help you understand libraries and frameworks like React and Angular or Vue. And companies really look forward to hire developers who are good at JavaScript. So 2 to 4 weeks on JavaScript should be more than enough to understand the basics and the advanced topics of the language. I will post links to all the best resources that you can use to learn JavaScript, either for free or there are some paid courses as well, which I highly recommend, in the description below. Step 3 is where all the fun begins. In step 3, we'll put everything that we learned in earlier steps together. In step 3, I want you to start building a small web apps, like build a to-do list or a calculator or a landing page. Now it's very likely that you will run into issues when you start building apps using these three technologies. So I highly recommend watching a YouTube tutorial on how to build a certain app. Let's say you're trying to build a calculator. So go to YouTube, search how to build a calculator using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Watch the whole tutorial, then come back to your editor, try to build that calculator on your own. Do not copy from the video, from the tutorial itself. Try to build it on your own. When you get stuck, just Google the issue wherever you feel stuck. Now what this will do is you will run into problems, but when you try to find solutions on your own, what that process will do is it'll expand your knowledge of these three technologies. Now some of my favorite projects when I started learning web development are like I built a calculator, built a to-do list, I built a small e-commerce site. There was no cart or anything, but just the design part of it. Now I'll post links to some of the really good tutorials out there that teaches how to build certain apps, web app, calculator, pretty much anything. Now I will post links to some of the best tutorials that teaches how to build specific apps using these three technologies in the description below. Let's move on to step number 4. Step number 4 is I want you to spend 2 to 3 days learning web hosting. So in step number 3, you build different web apps and websites. Now you have to learn how to host them or how to put them on the server for other people to see it. That's where the hosting part comes in. Once you learn how to host a web app or a website, you can put it online for other people to see your work and how you are making the progress. Now do not worry about buying a hosting server. There are plenty of free options available out there. I myself use Netlify to host my portfolio for free. So I'll post links to all the different hosting options you have in the description below. In step 5, I wanted to start posting about the projects that you're building and the technologies that you're learning on social platforms, mainly LinkedIn, but you can also post on Instagram and Twitter. Let the world know the cool projects that you're building and the stuff that you're learning. Now don't be shy. I have seen developers who post online about the things they are the projects they are building for other people to see, get a lot more opportunities than the developers who are not that active or who do not post about the projects they are building. So don't be shy and start posting about pretty much everything. You build a to-do list, I post it on LinkedIn. You build a calculator or landing page or a note-taking app, just post it on LinkedIn, let the other people know that you're building. And what this will do in the long run is people will start recognizing you as a developer, as a web developer, and then from that point on, it's very likely that recruiters will start reaching out to you. Step 6 is I want you to build your own portfolio. I have my portfolio under my name akashdevgan.com, where I put all the projects that I worked on. Either you can buy your domain name with your name on it, like I have mine akashdevgan.com, but if you don't want to buy a domain, that's totally fine. There are free options available. Get a domain name, build your portfolio, and then put your make sure your contact information is on your portfolio. You can visit my portfolio akashdevgan.com to see an example of what a portfolio should look like, and then you have to include all the projects that you worked on in your portfolio. Now what this building a portfolio will do, first of all it'll give you credibility as a developer, because being a developer there is no reason that you don't have your own website online. Second, it'll help recruiters reach out to you much faster. They can simply go to your portfolio and go to the contact information from that point on. And then make sure whenever you start applying for jobs, you have to include a link to your portfolio, so recruiters don't have to ask you what projects you have worked on. They can simply go to your portfolio and then see a list of projects that you have worked on. I will post links to some of the websites where you can go ahead and start applying for junior developer, front-end developer position. Now this is pretty much it, but I promise if you follow these 6 steps in order, you will land a job as a junior front-end web developer within 6 months. Now there are a lot of other technologies that I have not included in these 6 steps. For example, I have not included GitHub, Git, or React, Vue, or Angular, or Node, NPM. Now those technologies are very, very important, but to begin with, these 3, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, is what you need to build any project, any website or any app. So once you get a really good hang of these 3 and you have some of the projects under your belt using these 3, I will recommend moving on to, let's say, learning React or learning GitHub and Git. But don't worry about that right now. Just focus on these 3 for now, and I'll make another video on how to then progress from junior to intermediate developer. Now this is pretty much it. If this video brought any value to you, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Take care. I'll see you guys in the next one.